Leaders will always have rebels. Some oppose their views while the rest oppose their acts. It is never easy being a leader, especially when you are under the spotlight and judged for every single step you take. Same was the case with these leaders. They may have made mistakes, or so it seemed to those who stepped forward to right the wrongs in their own way. A death penalty that was decided not by God or by the law, but simply by those against them. Here are 13 assassinations of famous people that majorly changed the course of history. Number 1. John F. Kennedy. Arguably one of the most famous assassinations in history. The 35th United States President was assassinated while in a motorcade on November 22, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Kennedy's motorcade was turning past the Texas School Book Depository at Dealey Plaza with crowds lining the streets, when shots rang out. The driver of the president's Lincoln limousine, with its top off, raced to nearby Parkland Memorial Hospital, but after being shot in the neck and head, Kennedy was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. He was 46 years old. A generation of Americans would forever remember where they were when they heard about the president's assassination, as it would have a profound political and cultural impact on the nation. Lee Harvey Oswald was charged with the crime, but he refused the charges, saying he was being framed. Oswald claimed that he was merely a patsy in the entire conspiracy that led to Kennedy's assassination, but Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby before he could be trialed on November 24. Ruby said he was angry over Kennedy's demise and stated that his motive was saving Mrs. Kennedy the discomfiture of coming back to trial, which many believed was a lie. And the mystery of Kennedy's death may have died with Lee Harvey Oswald. Number 2. Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated on January 30, 1948 in the compound of Birla House, a large mansion in New Delhi. His assassin was Nathuram Godse, an advocate of Hindu nationalism, a member of the political party the Hindu Mahasabha, and a past member of the Hindu nationalist paramilitary volunteer organization Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS. Godse considered Gandhi to have been too accommodating to Muslims during the partition of India of the previous year, sometime after 5 p.m. According to witnesses, Gandhi had reached the top of the steps leading to the raised lawn behind Birla House, where he had been conducting multi-faith prayer meetings every evening. As Gandhi began to walk toward the dais, Godse stepped out from the crowd flanking Gandhi's path, and fired 3 bullets into Gandhi's chest and abdomen at point-blank range. Gandhi fell to the ground. He was carried back to his room in Birla House, from which a representative emerged sometime later to announce his death. Nathuram Godse and his partner Opta were sentenced to death on November 8, 1949. They were hanged in the Ambala jail on November 15, 1949. Number 3. Franz Ferdinand. The death that triggered the World War. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was visiting Sarajevo in Bosnia. On June 28, 1914, 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip shot Franz Ferdinand and even his wife Sophie. Princip was one of a group of 6 assassins, 5 Serbs and 1 Bosniak, coordinated by Danilo Ili, a Bosnian Serb and a member of the Black Hand Secret Society. The political objective of the assassination was to break off Austria-Hungary's South Slav provinces so they could be combined into a Yugoslavia. Franz's death sparked the beginning of what came to be called World War I. Number 4. Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was one of the most loved presidents of the USA. He was the 16th president of the United States. He was assassinated by well-known stage actor John Wilkes Booth on April 14, 1865, while attending the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. Shot in the head as he watched the play, Lincoln died the following day at 7:22 a.m. in the Peterson House opposite the theater. He was the first U.S. president to be assassinated, with his funeral and burial marking an extended period of national mourning. Occurring near the end of the American Civil War, the assassination was part of a larger conspiracy intended by Booth to revive the Confederate cause by eliminating the 3 most important officials of the United States government. Powell, Harold, Atzerodt, and Mary Surratt were later hanged for their roles in the conspiracy. Number 5. Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. Part of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty, Prime Minister of India Indira Gandhi was shot by 2 of her own bodyguards, Satwant Singh and Bent Singh, on the morning of October 31, 1984. She was shot a total of 33 times by them in retaliation to Operation Blue Star, which had left the Golden Temple seriously damaged. Ex-Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was in Tamil Nadu on May 21, 1991. His assassin, Dhanu, and suicide bomber, bent down to touch his feet and pulled the trigger on the RDX-laden belt she was wearing under her dress. Rajiv Gandhi, along with 14 others, was killed. He was the first politician to be assassinated by a bomb blast. Number 6. Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin was the one who tried to resolve the Israel-Palestine conflict. The Israeli PM had signed the Oslo Accords, which aimed at resolving Israeli-Palestinian issues. The assassination of Yitzhak Rabin took place on November 4, 1995 at 21:30, at the end of a rally in support of the Oslo Accords at the Kings of Israel Square in Tel Aviv. The assassin, an Israeli ultranationalist named Yigal Amir, radically opposed Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin's peace initiative, particularly the signing of the Oslo Accords. Number 7. Julius Caesar. The assassination of Julius Caesar was perpetrated by a group of Roman senators led by Marcus Brutus, Gaius Cassius, and Decimus Brutus Albinus. On the Ides of March 15th, of 44 BC, they stabbed Caesar to death during a meeting of the Senate at the Theatre of Pompey in Rome. Altogether at least 60 senators were party to the conspiracy. They styled themselves the Liberators. His last words were, "Even you, Brutus," when his close friend Marcus Brutus assassinated the leader along with the help of other senators. Number 8. Malcolm X. Malcolm X was an African-American nationalist and religious leader. The American Muslim and human rights activist told an interviewer on February 19, 1965, that he was a target for the Nation of Islam, a group that he had denounced a year before. 2 days later, while addressing his Organization of Afro-American Unity at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington Heights, he was shot 21 times over his body after receiving 10 buckshot wounds from a shotgun. He died at the spot because of being hit by so many bullets. Number 9. Benazir Bhutto. The assassination of Benazir Bhutto took place on December 27, 2007 in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. Benazir Bhutto, twice Prime Minister of Pakistan and then leader of the opposition Pakistan People's Party, had been campaigning ahead of elections scheduled for January 2008. Shots were fired at her after a political rally at Liaquat Nationalbad, and a suicide bomb was detonated immediately following the shooting. She was declared dead at 18:16 local time, at Rawalpindi General Hospital. 23 other people were killed by the bombing. Her death caused an outrage in the public and her supporters were sad on her demise. Her assassination still remains a mystery, although many of her party people accused General Pervez Musharraf for her murder. Number 10. Alexander Litvinenko. An agent of the Russian FSB Secret Service, he was arrested for exceeding the authority of his position. Once acquitted, he found asylum in England and possibly worked as an MI6 agent. On November 1, 2006, he suddenly fell ill after a meal. He was poisoned by radioactive polonium-210 and died on November 23. He is the first known victim of this lethal dosage. His wife believes that the order to kill him came from Moscow. Number 11. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister and a social activist who was instrumental in the civil rights movement's success in ending the legal segregation of African Americans in the South and other parts of the United States. The Nobel Peace Prize winner was shot on April 4, 1968 by James Earl Ray. Martin Luther King was standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. He was only 39 years old. Ironic how a peace-loving person met such a sad and early end. Number 12. Robert F. Kennedy, the younger Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy was campaigning for presidency in 1968. He won the California presidential primary and right after midnight, on June 5, was shot by a young Palestinian named Sirhan Sirhan. He was shot thrice and 5 others were wounded. His last words were, "Is everybody safe? Okay." He died in hospital the next day. Number 13. William McKinley. United States President William McKinley was shot on the grounds of the Pan American Exposition at the Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York, on September 6, 1901. He was shaking hands with the public when anarchist Leon Czolgosz shot him twice in the abdomen. McKinley died on September 14 of gangrene caused by the wounds. He was the third American president to be assassinated, following Abraham Lincoln in 1865 and James A. Garfield in 1881. We hope that you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. You can subscribe the channel by clicking the red subscribe button below or by simply clicking the link in description. Keep watching. Take care and goodbye.